Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another powerful episode of Unapologetically Badass. I am your host, Renee Carbone-Fleming, and I am so thrilled for this next conversation because, my friends, what does it take to reinvent yourself multiple times and still rise to the top? In this powerful episode, we have a very special guest, Dr. Angela Kerek, whose life story spans elite athletics, global finance law, and high performance coaching. So, Dr. Angela, thank you so much. Is that how you like to be referred to? Is Dr. Angela, Dr. Kerek? What is your preference?
Angela is fine and happy to be here.
I'm so thrilled. Thank you. Thank you. And tell everyone, where are you joining us from?
So I'm joining from Berlin in Germany, and it's a beautiful spring at our place, and I'm super happy to be here with you to give you new energies to restart this new year.
Fantastic. So take us back. You were an elite athlete in tennis, correct?
Yeah, so I played professional tennis until I was 24. I grew up playing tennis. I was a multiple Romanian champion. I grew up in Romania, in communist Romania. And I immigrated to Germany when I was 16, at which point I started to play professional tennis. And I did that for 8 years. And it was the first chapter of my life, so to say. I played on the international WTA Tour, and my best ranking was 140 in the world.
That's wonderful. Did tennis help you and your family migrate from Romania to Germany?
It did, yes. So I migrated with my father alone. So my mother and my brother, we left them behind because we couldn't travel the whole family. And tennis was my story, and science was my father's story. And we managed to get a passport together. And this is how we arrived in Germany. Yes, 1988.
Oh, wow! And so you've been in Germany ever since?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still have family in Romania?
I have some family in Romania. Other part of my family is Hungarian because we are a mixed family. So we were a Hungarian minority growing up in Romania. I speak both languages as a mother tongue. So basically, I grew up with 3 to 4 languages, which I'm still speaking and working with.
I love that. You know what? That's the one thing. Those that I meet that are from European nations they grow up learning to speak multiple languages. And in the United States, although it's offered, it's not necessarily something that's typical. And I really regret not learning additional languages when I was young.
Yeah, I heard it very often, you don't have to. So because everybody speaks English, for us, it was a natural way to live. So in the city where I grew up, everybody spoke 4 to 5 languages, some even Serbians, because we lived at the border. So we didn't even realize that we're special because all of us did that. So when I came to Germany, I had to learn German because I was just basic when I arrived. So that was a complete transformation for me to learn a new culture and a new language. And then I studied in German. But when I started working, and we can go move on to that in a while, I started working in English. So different periods of my life are dominated by different languages that I spoke at that time predominantly.
Wow. So take us. You went through, you had your career as a professional tennis player. And did you just get to the point where you said, okay, my body, I'm moving on to something else?
Yeah, so, that was like let's say the second transformation, because the first was when we immigrated. When you go into a new world, you have a new home, that's quite a transformation, so to say, because we also left with just one sports bag, as a lot of tennis players did at that time. I don't know, the story of Martina Navratilova was also, she went to a tournament and she didn't return. This was the same time. And then, you come to a point as an athlete when you think to yourself, okay, do I go next level, and what does it take, and what do I need to invest, and what does it mean for my life and my family's life, because it's a family business, and am I able to take myself to the next level or not? As an athlete, you also think that your time is limited. So at that time, we thought with 30, you are like really, really old
Mm-hmm.
and unable to play. So I kept asking myself this question. So how long do you want to take this? Do you want to drive it out, ride it out until the end? Or do you want to jump earlier? And I kept seeing that a lot of, maybe the majority of tennis players who did not jump earlier, they did not make the jump after, the 30s. So what that means is they stayed in tennis. They became a coach. They,
Yeah.
played some tennis clubs. They had their own tennis academies. But essentially, they remained in the world of tennis. And for me, it became, clearer and clearer as we went on in my early 20s that I am incapable of thinking about spending my entire life in the tennis world. A lot of it was driven by the background of my family, which some of them, were medical doctors. My father was a scientist. My brother studied philosophy, and theater. And in a way, I always felt like, okay, it can't be just tennis,
Yeah.
And then the question has arisen: when do you jump, and what are you doing? Because it's really difficult to leave this world of sports, because
Yeah.
it's not just a new job or something, but you essentially lose your entire one and only identity you ever had, because you were perceived as an athlete. Sports was your life, was your business, was your livelihood. Leaving that behind is leaving an entire identity behind. And eventually I made it. And I made it because I fell in love with a guy that pulled me out.
A great story
Yeah.
never starts with it was all about the salad. It's usually about the guy.
Very often it's about a guy. Yeah. So and he started studying law. So I went along with him and started listening to the university lectures. And I thought, like, okay, why not? Because this is a really universal study.
Yeah.
It's something where you have a lot of culture behind you, a lot of understanding of how a state works, how a legal system works. So it was the culture which I missed in school,
Mm-hmm.
which I thought, okay, this study could give me. And the other advantage I saw in studying law is that I did not have to decide at the beginning what I am going to become. Because we have a general study in Germany where you study like 6 years, and after 6 years, you are an omnipotent judicial worker. Basically, you can choose to go to as a judge in a court, you can choose to be a lawyer, you can choose to go into administration. So basically, you're omnipotent. And that gave me 6 years of thinking time, what I could become. And I ended up becoming a lawyer.
Wow. But
Yes.
that had to have been a that's a big shift to go from I'm an athlete and I can't say pigeonholed, but a lot of people have you in that box, and that's their expectation on you as to this should be your career and your path moving forward. So that took a lot of bravery on your part to say, you know what, I'm going to reflect. That's not my journey anymore, and I want to pursue something else. What was the reaction with family, friends, the community in tennis?
So I kind of turned away from the community, not entirely, because I kept playing teams, because I financed my studies by playing in the German Bundesliga, which is the national teams championship. So I was still good enough to have a good life as a student. I was self-funded, basically. And my family was quite shocked because, I spoke the German language, which you speak on tennis courts, not in universities. So I just picked it up. I never really learned it. I didn't go to courses. So the skepticism was quite big. But then, you're young and you have no idea what you're moving into. And this is why you just go. You just go. And, the love carries you, the guy carries you, the new environment, new friends. And you are a lot less conscious in what you're doing when you are in your 20s. You just really keep yourself together. And I wanted to prove myself. I just said to myself, whatever happens, I'm going to do this study. And so it happened.
Wow.
But it was a completely unconscious, driven decision at that time to just change the trajectory of my life.
Right. And so, okay, so you go to school now, you're in university for 6 years. That's a long time. And then you start studying, you start practicing law, and then where does that take you into coaching?
Yeah, so it's 4 years plus 2. In between, I did my PhD because we had a waiting time. So that was another ambition. It was obviously in some ways ego-driven because I wanted to prove that I'm not just a tennis player. This idea you mentioned that even if you were a good athlete, you go into the intellectual world and then people just treat you like, well, you are just an athlete,
Right.
And you feel that. So you work double the amount, you learn double the amount just to prove that you are really clever,
Right. Isn't
and,
that such a sad statement that oftentimes us as women put on ourselves, that we have this perception that we're just a, right? Those two words, just an athlete, just a mom, just a woman. It's really something that, I'd love to just break that out of our vocabulary.
Yeah, I mean, you are pointing at the right at the right wound, so to say, right? So, in a way, like retrospectively, I still feel this. It's so enshrined into our cells, we are raised so strongly with this just not enough, just this, but you actually could do this and that. And at the time I was also an immigrant, I was a woman, I was an athlete. So every, manco that you can think of, I had,
Right.
But at that time I was so driven, I didn't even realize I was just going. And I just thought I need to learn a lot. But obviously the language barrier, and it's, my colleagues all were like 4 years younger, all educated in German schools. And I just came from Romania where, school education was like passing by between tennis tournaments, So I worked a lot, and very strangely, I ended up in one of the top law firms in Germany.
That can't be strangely enough. I don't mean to interrupt you, but you worked your ass off. You are extremely intelligent, and they brought you into their law firm.
Right. With a caveat that despite that I did all that, I did not have the grades for going into this top law firm. So I was just below the level they have needed. But I thought to myself, I really need to start at the top. Because if you start at the top, your way is paved very differently than if you start somewhere in a small firm and then work yourself up. So I had this idea, I need to learn it at the top. So, I kind of I was lucky. It was for the financial crisis. I interviewed with another guy, which was very sympathetic, which was very sports driven as well. And before the financial crisis, there was an enormous amount of finance work in these international law firms. And this is where I ended up, despite not having any idea, like literally zero idea what finance is about.
Wow.
And then I ended up in this law firm, which was for me a success, because this law firm became like the top, it's one of the top 10 law firms worldwide. Was the top 10 law firm, which I was not in tennis. So I always wanted to be in, top 100, top 10, and it didn't work out. So now this law firm came, and it was, the tennis player I never was. So I, again, worked my ass off. Basically, I worked double the time, and I learned everything in English because the study was in German. And very interestingly, despite not having anything to do with finance, I ended up being very good very fast. And I didn't understand why. I didn't understand how comes, It took me years to understand.
Wow. What do you think that was? Why do you feel that you didn't feel like you arrived? Like you didn't feel like you knew enough?
I always had to learn, because there were so many transactions that we ended up, working with clients from the very first week, where I really needed to, work a lot and understand a lot. I did not have so much help because everybody was so busy before the financial crisis. All the bank books was blown up. So it was transaction after transaction. So it was a lot of physical demand on working late hours until 2 to 3 a.m., coming back at 9 a.m., 8 a.m., So that was the time where we worked around 100 hours per week, and everybody did it. And I became good because I was so used to this, you need to perform and do more. And when everybody is knocked out, then you go and, have another gear. I was so trained to do that from tennis.
Right. Yeah. You don't get to that level of an athlete by resting on your laurels. So
no.
Did you learn that discipline and the drive from your parents, or was that something that you had innately in you?
So I still have a huge drive, but obviously I was also raised to have this drive, and not only by my parents or my father, but the entire sports environment in Eastern Europe was incredibly, driven and fear driven, and you do more and more and more, So it's like, think of the Russian gymnasts, think of the swimmers. Like everybody in that period of time in the 80s, 90s was, basically pushed to go over and above what we could what we could perform. Wow. And that just translated over. So I ended up being in this law firm, which was literally the same environment as my sports environment, but just on another topic, Sports was with the body. Now I was doing the same with my head.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And how long did you stay at the law firm?
I stayed for 15 years.
Wow.
So I made partner. I did an MBA with, I started an MBA 9 months pregnant. I did that besides so I kind of did everything what I thought I need on paper to think about myself, that I'm kind of enough.
Wow.
This thought that you had, I need to do more. I always had the feeling I need to do more.
Yeah. I definitely resonate with that. That's, like we had talked earlier, and at my age, I'm still doing more, and I'm still going, okay, what else can I do? What other value can I bring? How can I build this? How can I do this? Who can I work with? Who can I collaborate with? That's something that, I hope that women don't stop dreaming. And that's when, life gets boring. I think we have to continue to push ourselves.
Right. So I mean, I completely agree with you, and I'm still like that.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, what is your mindset behind that?
Mm-hmm.
So are you doing it because you want to grow? Are you doing it because it's fun? Or are you doing it as a survival tool? So it's not about what you do, but how you do it. And this is how I, started shifting towards the mindset coaching,
Yeah.
because in 2021 I wrote a book called Winning Inside with my former coach, because I realized that every method an athlete is using to train their mindset to be a winner, to
Mm-hmm.
perform, every one of those elements you can literally put it into the business world. So it literally translates almost one-on-one into the business world. And this is what we did. We wrote the book. Unfortunately, it's in German. This is why I can't even, point you to the book. I mean, it's on my website, but it's just in German. So literally I started, seeing, okay, so what's the difference? The athletes, they drive themselves and they do and train. But eventually, if you start going at your edges, your body stops you. Yeah? You get injured. You are tired. You just can't go because your body stops you. It collapses in a way. You
Right.
get sick, So now when we are in the business world, we are just in our minds, the body is like, we forget we have a body,
Mm-hmm.
literally.
Mm-hmm.
And the mind is endless, right? So with your mind, you can go fly to the moon, you can go to the Mars. With the mind, you can travel through galaxies. Just unfortunately, your body is still keeping you on the East Coast, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
So, but the question is, okay, how can I put boundaries on this literally mind without any boundaries? Because I have to stop as well. I have to start, training my mindset to not, overreact, to not drive me into burnout, to not, bring me into depression, to not literally depress me in a way,
Right.
because I can't control it. So I need some type of agency over my mind.
Yeah.
And how do I do that?
Right.
Literally, I need to train it.
Yeah.
If I go running, if I go lifting, I train my body. Yes,
Mm-hmm.
in the same way, I need to train the thoughts. I need to train the habits which my mind has. Once you see, I don't know, talking about guys, you see your ex, your mind goes like, oh my god, or
Yeah.
mostly, right? So how can I literally stop?
Yeah.
And don't
So
react.
what would be the tips that you have for women to do that, to start training their mind?
Well, in a very first instance, I would start by observing, which are those moments where I literally explode because I can't stop myself, right?
Yeah.
So if I react, my kids do something, basically something they do all the time, but one day I react like crazy and scream at them, and other times I don't. So it's not about them, it's something about me. It triggers something in me. And like a detective, you start saying, okay, what am I reacting to? And literally start pausing and not, jumping as a super emotional, screaming person
Right.
and reacting to someone.
Yeah.
What also helped me a lot, when I started realizing and implementing into my mind that how people react to me, it's not about me. It's about them.
Right.
And this is, a thought. So how do you train your mind? Like every time you think, oh my God, this person wants something bad for me. This person stands in my way. This person didn't see me. He didn't say hello. She didn't look after me or something. It's literally, being in this position of they have to take care of me. And then I realized, well, nobody thinks of me because they just think about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And it was quite liberating, I have to say, because I realized, okay, here's the locus of control. It's here in my mind.
Yeah.
So if I start training my mind that this is not a danger, that this is not, against me, but take the agency and say, okay, if he reacts like this, I just don't respond, or just stay calm, or just move on.
Right, right. Isn't this something though that, gosh, I wish I knew this stuff when I was younger, right? Because I'm at that, like I completely feel this with you, but I feel like we are doing a disservice to the younger generation because we don't teach that to them. And until it's adulthood, and then you're going, oh shoot, I've been so reactionary in my life that's brought on so much stress and aggravation and depression and all of those things. But I don't think we arm the younger generation with the tools necessary to train their mindset in a positive way.
Yeah, I so much feel you. So I also think so. The first 50 years of my life, I was reactive.
Me too. And I'm Italian and Portuguese. So I can go from 0 to 800 like that. Right. And so
Yes.
and I was so reactionary, and going through a divorce, I was so like losing it. And it's like now that I'm older and I've self-reflected and I've owned it, it's like you said, it's liberating, and it's you can be a different person.
Yes, and literally, I thought to myself, why did I need 50 years? And why
Yes.
did nobody tell me? Why did
Right.
nobody tell me? And there's also a lot of anger involved. What happened to us,
Yeah.
what they did to us, how they raised us. It's a lot of anger and resentment. And I
Yeah.
just literally started piece by piece dissecting my thoughts and thinking, okay, what's the most disturbing thought? Because my husband didn't do this and that, and he didn't do the dishes. And I was like, okay, but just let him be how he is.
Yeah.
We'll just try it for a moment to just let him be. Just don't tell him. Just
Right.
literally focus on yourself.
Yeah.
Right? Because we are so focused about what people think of us, what the others do, just to not be looking to ourselves. This is why we are so reactive. And to answer your question, I mean, I am consciously, extremely consciously raising my kids and trying to, infuse
Yeah.
these sentences into their minds, like literally put some kind of mind tattoos into their thoughts, so that they don't become so competitive, that they don't just think their value are the grades they get in school, or the value is the clothes they wear every time they come. So the training is that every time something happens like that, you just need to bring yourself down, take a deep breath, and then see how you respond, and literally watch yourself going from reactive into super calm.
Yeah.
um,
Because what don't you find that now that you're in this, awareness of your mind, that you're a happier person? I know for me, it's like I'm happier because I don't put it on somebody else, and I don't have the expectations of what somebody else is how they're gonna treat me, or like you said, if somebody doesn't do the dishes, just like whatever. It's
yeah, life is so much easier, right? So life becomes easy.
yeah,
This is what I feel and see, is just, I don't consume so much energy on stuff I cannot change. I
right.
literally think, is it a fact? Like what happened yesterday is a fact.
Yeah,
I just cannot change it anymore because the time has passed. And if it's a fact and I cannot change it, there is only one thing I can do: thinking of what's next. So what
right.
do I do with it?
Yeah,
And changing the question of why. I don't ask why something happened. Why don't I ask it? Because there is no answer to the why. because you will have one answer, my husband will have another one, and my friend will have another one. There is no objective answer to any question when you ask, why did this happen? Nobody knows, and you will never know, right?
Yeah.
So if I still ask why, I'm in a position of, something happens to me what I cannot control.
Victim.
Well, I'm a victim. Yeah, this was the word I was looking for. Like, I'm a victim.
Yeah.
But if I start changing the question and saying, what next? Then what am I? I am just fully in control of what I am thinking and what I will be doing, because everything else is just a fact.
I love that. I love that. So is that that's your main focus with coaching others, is to help them train their mind, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So people come to me and say, oh my God, I'm so stuck. I'm bored. I don't know if I should change jobs. And, they're like not seeing the next step. So the first thing I'm doing is, calming them down, doing like a status quo. Is there anything which is like really eating up the space around you? My wife does this, my husband does that. So let her be whatever she is. Do you have your cellar or your garage which is full of stuff and stuffed and stuffed, and you didn't throw the stuff out and it's literally drowning you? So as a first step, I always ask people to make space, like physical space around them and physical space in their bodies. So I really want them to start moving, because just if you start moving, then you see where the tension is, then you see what holds you back. And then there is one compass I always use, which is always go for the biggest hurdle which is in front of you. So, what stands in the way is the way. This is a sentence I've heard. Whatever stands in your way today, that is the way where you need to go, because that's your biggest avoidance. That's your biggest mountain, blocking everything, including the sight.
Right.
You can't even know what you want to do next, because you are stuffed with stuff and with thoughts and with everything. You don't have space to think.
Yeah.
So we first make space, and then there is also one really nice thing, and it works like magic, which I realized that people start looking for their purpose. What's your purpose? What's your purpose? It's social media. What's your purpose? Find your purpose. And I read from very clever people, so it's not my own thought, but I read a lot about this, and I realized there is no purpose. Like, what's my purpose? I don't know, because nobody cares. So the purpose I have is the purpose I choose.
Yeah.
So I realized it's about a choice.
Yeah.
So it's never going to come to me. It's never going to be a revelation. I don't need to wait. I don't need to think I'm not ready. I just choose.
Yes. And it's something that's what lights you up. If it lights you up, then that's your choice and that's your purpose. Like and what's great about the purpose is that it can also pivot and change over time, because we grow as humans. We learn, we have, lessons in life and pitfalls that we go through life that sometimes causes us to stop, reevaluate, and go, okay, well, now this is what's lighting me up. Like, you went from being a professional athlete to a lawyer to now coaching others on mindset, because you're like, this is my journey and I want to now help others with that. I love it.
Yeah, and the other thing is that which is, you said at the beginning, the expectation of people. If you're an athlete, you're always an athlete. If you're a lawyer, you're always a lawyer. That expectation you mentioned in the beginning. So once you come into the age when you start thinking, I don't care. I literally don't give a shit what people think.
Yep.
I mean, to be totally
open. I say that all the time. Yep. I don't give a shit. Next.
I read that famous book of Manson, who's the subtle art of not giving a
Yeah,
F.
I say that a
Uh,
lot.
I was like, yeah. and and then you start, reinventing your story, because you don't have a locked in story. This is how you're born, this is how you marry, and this is how you die, my
Yeah,
grandparents' story, basically.
right.
Our story is now, no, I want to do whatever I want to do, and it's my life, it's one life. And if I want to open a cafe at the beach somewhere, then this is what I'm going to do. Why? Very simple, because I just want to.
Yes, yes. And I've been saying that for years. I talk about when I coach team members or clients, I've always said that I help them build their fuck it fund, because I never want people to feel like they're stuck. No matter where they are in their journey, just fuck it. If you want extra money for whatever it is, you want to change, pivot, then do it.
Go for it.
I don't give a fuck
Yeah.
what somebody thinks about me. They're like, how do you go from this to that? It's not me to explain it to you. You're not part of my journey. It's okay. But a lot of women are stuck with that. So, what is your biggest one piece of advice to women that feel like, they're looking left to right for other people's opinions?
Yeah, I mean, my advice is you need to start letting go. You need to start working on yourself and making yourself believe that you are capable of doing whatever you want to do, because those people don't give a shit about you. So why should you give a shit about what they might think about you, because they don't even think it? You just think. So it's escaping this story you tell about yourself of, this is how I need to do, this is how a career needs to look. I invested so much. Yeah, I think so. Okay, yeah, I invested a lot in being a lawyer, but you know what? Now I just don't want to be it anymore. I'm still a lawyer. I'm still working as a lawyer from home, but now in a different mindset. Now I really want this. And a lot of it, it's not about how you do, what you do. Whatever you do, it's how you do it. You
Yeah.
write a book, it's not about the book, it's about how you feel about writing a book. You do the podcast, it's about how you feel about what you give to other women to encourage them to move on. And I just always say, we are in a world, thank God, where I can do whatever I want. Even you see, we talk
I know.
online,
Mhm.
was not possible a few years ago.
Right.
Yeah, we all grew up with that phones. My
Yes.
children don't even understand what that is. So
Yeah.
now we are in a world where you don't have these barriers of physical presence. You can, do whatever you want, and you
Right.
can sell whatever you want.
Yeah.
But here, you need to get out of here. It's not about other people don't care about you. It's the only person you have to care about yourself is you.
Yes.
You have to, when your life comes to an end, you to yourself need to say, I lived it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I would be very curious about what your list is, because my list is the live it list. So where everything I always wanted to do, however stupid that is, goes on that list.
Yeah.
And I just live by that list. And what's not on the list, it's obviously not my priority. So I'm always living priorities.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. And what is next for you?
So I also joined a startup in December. So I kind of came full circle, because it is an environmental impact startup. So we translate your physical movement into environmental impact. So you run 5K or 10 miles.
Mhm.
And that translates into 10 trees planted or 10 kilograms of plastics removed from the river. And this is where my athlete, me,
Yeah.
and my mindset me come together, because we are now doing a version 2.0 where I will include all this mindset training into the app as well. It's a native app on Apple, and we are redesigning it. Now I just really feel like doing design, and I love it. So I'm
Good.
working a lot with developers and designers, and everything what I teach offline or online on my portal, I will also make available in the app, so that this is where I wanted to be. Encourage people to move. Body is always right. The body is always talking to you. The body is the only gear you need in your life. So take care of it. Train your mind. And while you do that, also have a beautiful environmental impact.
Oh my
So
gosh.
this is my next.
That is fantastic. You are an absolute joy and pleasure, and I'm thrilled to have you on. How can people connect with you?
I'm on LinkedIn, so Angela Kerek, or angelakerek.com. That's my personal website. Every information you need, all my trainings, which I do individually, are on that site. So on LinkedIn, on DMs, you can reach me at any time, and it is an absolute pleasure to share here with you and inspire women to have the courage to break out and just live the life they want to live, not what they
Amen.
thought.
And let me know if or when you record an audiobook. So with your book being only in German, if you ever decide to record that in English, let me know. Happy to share it with the audience as well.
What a nice idea, Renee. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. I have a few books published on Amazon, but I did one audio recording on my website because somebody had asked me. They were like, "You gonna do an audio?" And I was like, "Oh, that's a good idea. I should do that." So that's why I
So
put
this,
it in there. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
you
And
too.
thanks for having me.
Oh, my pleasure. Everyone, please go follow Angela connect with her on LinkedIn, check her out on our website, download her trainings, connect with her. But absolutely brilliant, adore you, and thrilled to share another powerful, powerful woman on Unapologetically Badass. So I will see you all on the next one.